Hello, hello. Welcome to Young Reech Capital. We are looking at Bitcoin hitting all time highs at the price of 111,000 and going up. If you look at this, we are looking pretty good. All right. I hope everybody can see what's going on. We have good picture and good audio. All right, there we go. Lovely. So we have breakout on Bitcoin. We're looking at the 1 minute chart. Today is going to be a very short stream, probably just 20 minutes. Just going to quickly break down the moves for Bitcoin and also run through the altcoins that I have been looking at past couple of weeks. Also give some potential targets for Bitcoin as well. Let me go into this chart. There we go. Yesterday we were trading below this 109 level, which was the all-time high. This was the all-time high right here. I'm gonna do this right now. I'm gonna set a price tag right here. All right, I'll pull up the 30-minute chart. Beautiful. So this was our all-time high from the beginning of this year in January, and as I said yesterday, we are gonna have to flip this level for the price to then rally. What I had also said was there are some potential target opportunities for Bitcoin in the near to long term price points, right? So, this is something that I was looking at. Just give me a moment. So, I think it was on the 4 hour chart. Let me go into this right here. Right. So, if I have to draw a Fibonacci move from the all-time high that was formed on the 20th of January right here, and then the low that was formed on the 8th of April. These two zones, I drew the Fibonacci from this high to this low, excuse me, from this low to this high. So as I was saying, we are now going to be targeting this level, the 0.25 and the 0.5 and the 618 level. Essentially is going to give us this much of room for the price to then move into, which is going to give us some potential targets, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up in this chart right here. As you can see, these levels have completely been front run and converted into support zones right now. You see, this zone was technically a resistance zone, which has now been converted into a demand zone. Right here. All right, beautiful. this as well. So everything that we are seeing on our chart is green. We don't have any red zones at all. So Bitcoin is absolutely bullish, and any retracement we get into these zones, especially these price points that I've put out on the chart, are all going to be key levels for support. So overall, we're looking really, really top notch on Bitcoin. And just take a look at this lovely trend, beautiful bullish trend forming on Bitcoin. I have a feeling that we're pretty much at the end of the trend, very close to the end. So, as I was saying, I'm going to set up the Fibonacci level like so and mark out some potential price points right here. Right. Cool. So this is going to be price point number one, and it's going to be price point number two. There we go. So these are going to be our key levels to watch out for on Bitcoin. I do not want to complicate the chart too much, but it is what it is. So these one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, these seven price points right here that I've set up on the chart are going to be extremely important key levels to watch out for in the near to long term, right? So I'm going to break down all of these prices one by one. Excuse me. Right. So the reason I set this up right here, this price, is because this is going to be sitting at the golden pocket. This price right here is going to be at the golden pocket. The 118,000 is also going to be key. So essentially this block right here is going to be our final zones for Bitcoin. And make sure you set up some alerts, or just join my live stream when the price is at these points, and then I can give you an idea of where the price is pretty much gravitating towards as soon as we tap into these levels. At the moment, this is going to be our target: 120,000, $27,409, essentially the $127,000 mark. I am going to get rid of this and keep this as a main zone. Make it a bit easier for the price points on this chart. All right. So as you can see, I have set up some potential targets. So these two levels are going to be key target areas for Bitcoin. And more often than not, when the price reaches these levels, which is the 0.25 and the 0.5 and the 0.618 levels, we are going to see some really strong price action from the bears, because as you can see, the price has been moving at quite the pace from the past 1 month, a month and a half. So also, as you can see, yesterday we broke out of this all-time high of $109,000. And what we are also seeing at the moment is we are consolidating above the all-time high. What that means is we are going to be taking some support, most likely tap into this trend line and then come into the 0.25, possibly come back down, maybe fake some people out here, take some support on the all-time high. Then we tap into this $127,400, which would essentially be a retest of this trend line, right? So this is something that I'll be looking at. take support at this level. Gonna do something like this. Come back to test this level. Essentially come all the way down to the 95k region. And then after we reach the zone, we shall figure out what to do. But our immediate targets are going to be the 127k, 118k, and of course the 109k markers are going to be very important. Let me move all these numbers to the side so it's easier to see. All right. So this is my ultimate prediction for BTC. Of course, please take it with a grain of salt. Nothing is absolute, so anything can happen. So this is what I'm expecting. I'm going to take a screenshot of this live on the stream. All right. Boom. So that has been taken. It's a live Just for Laughs prediction series playing out right in front of you. Of course, anything can happen. I just take it and do this for entertainment sake, these prediction situations. But this is something that I'm quite certain might happen because it might not play out exactly as I've kind of drawn it out. What I'm looking forward to happening is essentially tapping into these levels. That is quite certain that might happen is it'll hit these levels and then it'll react. So based on this reaction, it'll create a certain pattern, which is something that this is what I'm looking at, right? This is what a textbook pattern would look like. And then also, if I'm looking at this pattern, this would be a head and shoulder pattern, right? Something like this. And this would be the neckline. Then, of course, we break down from this neckline. We wouldn't get a retest of this neckline. Once we break down from this, our next target would be the 95k. And then we might kind of come back up, possibly. That remains to be seen. But these are the potential possibilities on the 4 hour chart. Um, Somewhere around August is where I'd be expecting the price to come back into the 95k region because um, for the price to kind of go higher into the high 130, 150 region, 140k regions, it's gonna have to collect some liquidity which is sitting all below, all right here, right? All of this liquidity is very much necessary for the price to kind of come back. So if I have to make this situation play out in a much more cleaner way, let me just get rid of this whole all of this, right? I'm just gonna get rid of this because again, this is just a very quick and fun way to look at the market. But now let's be a little bit serious and then let me show you what the potential key levels and key targets would be. Essentially, once we tap into these levels, essentially the this level right here, this zone, let's call it a zone rather than a level. This entire zone, right? As soon as the price comes into the zone, we're going to have to see some reaction. So if I have to draw a Fibonacci all the way into the 618 point minus zero point 0.5 region, right? So if I do that, what I'm going to essentially get is the golden pocket sitting exactly at this 95,167.8 region, right? And which coincides with this previous range high, which was quite a interesting range high, which we kind of consolidated and broke out of. So just be certain that once we come into the zone, this area is going to be an important zone because we have consolidated here at the previous range high. And also now it would be considered a very important level because this zone is the golden pocket. From this low all the way to the 127 target would be the high, right? Would be like kind of like the local high of Bitcoin for it to then come into this price target. So this is what I would be expecting. This is a very astute, for a lack of a better word. I think astute is a good word to use. Anyway, I ramble on. What I'm trying to say essentially is this is what the target would be for long-term players to place their bids for a long on Bitcoin. And of course, please do consider invalidations as well. So this level right here, the zero point 0.9 level, would be your invalidation. So set your stop loss either just at this level where I've marked out, or if you want to be slightly more open and open-ended with your trade, you could set your stop loss just below this low, right? Also a very good opportunity. So these two areas could be your stop loss zones. This could be your entry, and you can target the 127K region, right? Or if you're looking for a long-term situation, you can just hold on to the trade. And of course, please do make sure, even if you're holding on for a long-term trade, make sure you set your stop loss so you don't end up going into a loss if there is some sort of a situation where BTC Bitcoin starts breaking down from these levels. Because if that happens, then we are for sure gonna hit the, look at this. We have the 1.25 standard deviation at 61K. So this would be the next move. If we that is only if we break down from these levels. Like we have to break down from this zone. If we break down from this zone, then we can expect this price of one $60,000, right? But that is quite a unlikely scenario now because the price is super duper bullish. And look at the amount of support areas that are formed, that have been formed. All these green boxes that you see, these green zones and these white lines, and all of these price points that I have marked out on the chart, essentially, of course, with an exception of these two, this entire box, all of these 1, 2, and 3 are going to be your macro, like major price points. And of course, in between, you'll have some micro key levels. So I would call it major and minor. So major, this would be a major key level price point, these three price points, and then in between you'll find some minor key levels, right? So that's how the market will essentially gravitate towards as soon as we tap into this zone. So this zone is going to be very important because as I said, this is going to be our Fibonacci zone right here, and we're very close to it. Also, it looks like we are consolidating above the high. Also, there's an additional scenario that I'd like to point out. Very simple scenario that I'd like to point out is something known as a swing failure pattern, where the price tends to kind of go above a previously created high after a massive move down. And then once we come back to this zone, we take the liquidity above this, essentially where we are at right now. We do that, and then there might be a massive candle that comes down, right? Or usually it's a wick based candle, so that could happen on the daily chart. So these are some possibilities where we might not even get these levels, right? That's an absolutely a possibility, but I feel like we're going to get this level is going to be something that's going to, get taken out right here. Because if you see, if I have to paint another picture for you, I can do that based on this Fibonacci's level as well, right? See how it coincides. If I draw the Fibonacci level from the 50K, 55K level all the way to the 109K high, from here to here, essentially this low to this high, we tapped into the golden pocket right here. And then now we are on track to tap into the minus 0.25, which is coinciding with our golden pocket zone, which I drew out, taking these two high and low points to draw the Fibonacci. So there are multiple confluence signals that are giving the market the opportunity to consider taking bids at these levels, essentially the 127 to 118K level, right? This zone right here is where the market is gravitating towards. We have multiple confluence and confirmations that it's wanting to go to this zone right here. So make sure that you are aware of that and you play the market based on these levels. Quite simple. Of course, you have any questions, you can send me a message or also just drop a message in the chat. Anything works. Also send me an email. Whatever works for you, whatever floats your boat. Right. So anyway, what we're looking at right now is this, and additionally we have this as well. So this we have this trend line that we have set up, which which will essentially coincide with around this, as I said, this high, the 95K level, right? If we kind of extend it, if we extend ourselves a bit into say August, September, October, November, right? So if we are around November, we say we what I'm expecting the price is to come into these zones during August or September, possibly around the zone. Or we might extend slightly and then as usual the November bull market, right? Or October as they say. During October and November is when the bull markets usually kind of tend to blast off. So we can expect the price to tap into this trend line around the October, November, which is August, September, October, and November, somewhere around here, which will coincide with this lower trend line as well. Basically, the 95K region. Also, possibly, if that doesn't happen and the market wants to kind of come back a bit further and faster into these zones, we might expect the 83K region. Absolutely possible. The 83K is also a key level. So that's why I've set it up just as a a warning that 83K is going to be our very important level of support. Of course, we have the 70K region as well, which I'm also going to set up right here. Great. Right. So these levels are going to be key levels for the price on Bitcoin. Also, please do note that we are at an overbought level. We have finally tapped into the overbought level after a long time. And now we're going to definitely going to start seeing some potential bearish divergence scenario playing out with of course, with the price going up. So that's what it would do. Essentially create a divergent scenario. All right. So this is what I'm pretty much expecting on Bitcoin. And, that's it for now. And of course, we can also look at the uh, with the VWAP as well quickly. We are way above the VWAP. As soon as we start closing, I like to look at the 30-day VWAP. So look at that. We are way above the VWAP. The price target for the VWAP would be at the moment sitting at $100,000. It's going to be our VWAP target as well. That's an additional thing to look at. As you can see, we had multiple rejections of the VWAP and then we started breaking out, still rejected, and then finally we kind of consolidated above the VWAP and then boom, blast off. So could expect something similar to that where we kind of come back into the VWAP, which is at about $100,000, right? Which most likely happens. Take note of that as well, where the VWAP is a very important um, indicator to look forward to. This 100K region is also a very, very important level, which I'm also going to set up right now in this situation here. Let me just set up the 30-day VWAP, this 100,000 level, right? Right here. Beautiful. Right, so what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to change the color to blue because that's what my VWAP is, the rolling VWAP, 30 days. Great. So I've named it instead of putting a price point. So even if we reach there, we know what price level and what key level it is at, right? Cool. And great, I'm gonna just quickly run through everything else. All the altcoins pretty much look pretty much awesome. As I said, Fartcoin broke out of this beautiful triangle formation, and I went through the altcoins yesterday. I'm probably gonna do that tomorrow as well. So awesome. This was, as I said, going to be a very short and sweet and quick live stream. Quick and fast live stream. I didn't want to, because I have to be somewhere else right now. So I'm going to wrap it up, and I will be back tomorrow to do a final week analysis and chart it situation breakdown. So, yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and please take care of yourselves, trade safely, and I will see you on the next one.